Welcome to Section 2 of the Introduction chapter. In this section, we will be discussing the definition of CAD software, and we'll have a graphic comparison of BIM and CAD software. What you're viewing on the screen right now is a typical CAD view of a floor plan, and we have the AutoCAD interface here to help us out. So let's talk about CAD software and how it's different from BIM software. The term CAD is a generic term for a specific workflow used to generate project CDs, just like BIM software is. However, there are many different brand names for CAD software in the market. Things like Chief Architect, Draft Site, LibreCAD, and of course what we have here on the screen, which is AutoCAD. CAD is technology for design and technical documentation that has replaced manual hand drafting. Really, it was the precursor to BIM software. CAD software is precise, it's easy to use, it allows for quick exploration of ideas, and at times you can create photorealistic renderings with it as well. The process that we use to generate CDs or construction documents in AutoCAD is a lot different than in BIM software. Drafting construction drawings in AutoCAD are done in 2 dimensions. Let's talk about what that means. If I zoom in here in my AutoCAD interface, I see a wall here. It's these magenta lines. And this wall is represented by one line being drawn here and a second line being drawn right next to it at a certain distance. Now, these objects are flat 2D lines, and they represent a wall. And for a really long time, that made a lot of sense. Let's take a look at this software in 3 dimensions and see what it looks like. I'm going to pop into a 3D view here, and let's take a look at the entire drawing. We can definitely see that, and we'll say this now, this is much different than our Revit software, right? Our BIM software. This is a flat drawing. All of these lines are completely flat, and when we draw them, there's a little bit of imagination that we need to use. We have to imagine that this line, drawn right next to this line, represents something. Because drafting of different drawings in AutoCAD is done in individual files, which is the next topic, that means that we'll have 20, maybe 30 different CAD files when we're done drawing a complete project. This is, again, a departure from BIM software. BIM software, we have one file. And in CAD software, we have multiple files with multiple drawings. So let me show you what that looks like. If I were to save this drawing, there we go. In my file structure, I would see all of the other drawings that I have here. So I have a building section drawing, I have a floor plan, I have a building elevation, and I have a building detail drawing. All of these drawings are separate individual files. So that means that if I have a change made to the building floor plan, that I have to open up several different files to coordinate that dimensional change in order for the drawing set to be correct. Okay, so we have multiple files that we're using in AutoCAD here to generate a set of construction drawings. All of our drafting, generally speaking, is going to be flat in 2 dimensions. Now let's take a look at what that means in comparison to Revit. In AutoCAD, we have our flat drawings. I'm going to pop over here to Revit. In Revit, of course, we have our model, right? We have our 3-dimensional model, and objects are built in 3 dimensions. So when I look at a building section of my Revit model, or I select a wall in my 3D view, that wall has some definition to it. It's a 3D element. And if I look at the type of wall and I look at its definition, let's look at its structure, I can see that this wall is made of concrete, it's made of a wood stud layer, there is timber for the structure, and we have an interior finish. So all of these elements are defined. Okay. So let's just reiterate some of the differences between AutoCAD, which is CAD, computer-aided drafting software, and Revit. Number 1, an AutoCAD file structure contains multiple files, and really as many files as you need to generate a set of construction drawings. Each of those individual files contains a different drawing. BIM software has one file, and it contains a 3D model, and we view that 3D model in different ways to see our construction documents. AutoCAD file structure, we use DWG files. In BIM software, we use .rvt files. And again, I'm reiterating this one more time because it's a very important point, but in Revit, we work in 3D, and in AutoCAD, we work in 2D. This ends Section 2, the definition of CAD software and graphic comparison of BIM versus CAD.